ವಿಶ್ವದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಣ್ಣಂದಿರಿಗೂ ಅಕ್ಕಂದಿರಿಗೂ ಶರಣು ಶರಣಾರ್ಥಿ ಬಸವ ಜಯಂತಿಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. On this great occasion of Global Basava Jayanti, I am pleased to share some of my random thoughts for your consideration. So, the theme is world peace and how Shiva Sharanas contributed towards forming a world that is peaceful, that is enjoyable, bringing bliss to everyone in the world. Could we have followed that? If we did that, has the world would have been more peaceful than it is now? So that brings up the question, why there is no peace in the world? Some of my friends said, there will not be a peace in the world as long as we have emotions. We are humans, we have emotions. These emotions contribute to love, hatred, bigotry, violence, religious intolerance, nationalism, so on and so forth. These are the obstacles for the world peace. Fortunately for us, prophets come in, join the community, join the world, join the universe to try to reform the world and give us better ways of living. And Basavanna and his contemporaries, Shiva Sharanas, were one among those who happened to be very close to us, and from their experience and from their thought process, they gave us quite a number of things to consider. In fact, the principles they gave us, we started calling it Vishwamanava Dharma. Vishwamanava Dharma meaning global humanism. How everyone can be together, happy and blissful. That was the aim of that Vishwamanava Dharma. Whenever we think in terms of a human, it is said that all of us are really striving to be happy, striving to be blissful. That is our innate nature. But the circumstances around us change that and bring us a lot of sorrow and a lot of inconvenience that brings us less and lesser peace as we grow and as we interact with people. But from our sacred books, we always keep on saying, ಯಾವ ಪುರುಷಾರ್ಥಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಪುರುಷಾರ್ಥಸ್, the four-field values that our sacred books have talked about, really form the basis of what human beings are. The Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So, Dharma sometimes is very quickly translated as religion. It is not really that. Dharma is the righteous way of living to uplift oneself and also to uplift the community the person is in. That is what Dharma is. Artha is the resource. Artha is finance. We need resources to do whatever we are doing, and in particular, we need resources to satisfy, quench karma. Kama is our desires. So we utilize our resources to quench our desires as far as possible, and then assuming that we do all that, we attain moksha, the blissfulness. So if you think along those four words, the first and the last, dharma and moksha, they refer to moral aspects of life or spiritual aspects of life, whereas artha and kama refer to the material aspects of life. So since all four of them are there, it is obvious that we need to be materially complete to be able to achieve spiritual completeness also. So we cannot simply ignore the material aspects of it because we are in here. We have desires and we need to get resources to quench our desires or meet our desires. The only thing that Shiva Sharanas and our sacred books have told us was, in terms of acquiring the wealth, acquiring the artha, we need to follow dharma, dharmic ways. We need to follow the first principles of dharma and then acquire wealth. And then, in terms of kama, try to minimize our wants and needs, and then whatever the resources we have acquired, utilize them to quench it, and also whatever the excess resources we have, distribute that to the community or share it with the community. And that is what exactly our Shiva Sharanas said. Artha, we can translate that to be corresponding to Kayakave Kailasa. That is the righteous way of performing our work to acquire wealth, and then use that wealth to utilize whatever we need to quench our requirements, and then dasoha, to distribute that or share it with the community, so that we are bringing up the community as a whole. If we continue with that kind of thing, and then once we are happy with our materialistic attitudes, we will also be very close to our spiritual attitudes in terms of dharma and then the moksha. Moksha doesn't mean that we have to quit everything and go away. To me, moksha means the bliss and happiness we can acquire while we are here. In fact, Shiva Sharanas said, Illi sallovaru, alliyu sallovaraya. We really don't have to wait till we go somewhere else to the afterlife to attain moksha. We need to attain moksha in this life. We can make the earth into a heaven, and we can have a very good blissful life here. That is moksha. In fact, the four Purusharthas help us along those lines. And it is interesting that Shiva Sharanas really did not ignore the material aspect of it. They said, let us be practical. We are human beings, we have desires, but at the same time, we need to perform our duties in the best way possible, in the most dharmic way, in the most righteous way, and be less and less selfish, and be more and more community oriented. And that is the way towards the world peace. So just two aspects, kayaka and dasaha, they themselves are sufficient to see why this particular thought process yields to world peace. So, as I said, prophets come to us when when the world or the universe gets into an abnormal mode of living. The peace goes away and the annoyance sets in. So in particular, if you think in terms of Basavanna and his contemporaries, especially Basavanna, he observed the inequality aspect very early in his life, when he saw that his parents said he will be given the thread ceremony, whereas his sisters cannot have the thread ceremony. Then he started questioning why women are treated different from men. That thought process took him the rest of his life saying that we need to bring up equality of women and men in general. In general, all men are equal. We are all sons of that one Father whom you can call Shiva, you can call God, you can call whatever the name that you want to give, but we are all sons of Him. We need to accept the fatherhood of this God, and all of us, all are men and women. We need to accept the manhood and womanhood, which are brotherhood and sisterhood of each other. If we come to that kind of realization, we all belong to that one particular Father, and we are all brothers and sisters, and we are all equal. And if that thought process comes into everyone in the community, everyone in the universe, of course, the universe is built of various communities. This has to come from the individuals to the community, to states, to countries, and to continents, and to the universe. That kind of thought process makes it way towards the world peace. And that's what Shiva Sharanas gave us in terms of equality. Then, as Basavana took over the charge of being the finance minister, chief minister of Bijala, he noticed that the society has been divided into four parts. He started studying that aspect as to how that happened. So the four divisions of the society were formed mainly as division of labor to get the community going. But the division of labor was taken to an extreme wherein each part of the four divisions, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana, Kshatriya, were limited to whatever they are doing, and they were said that they cannot cross the boundaries of their own division going into the other part of it. That created the inferiority superiority complex. And then Basavana was quite annoyed by this. He decided that we need to do something about it. We need to create a mindset wherein no profession is inferior. If you are a Brahmin, teaching is your profession, put 100% into it. If you are a Kshatriya, put 100% into your profession of defending people. But neither of you are superior or inferior. All of them are equal. So that is where Basavana and his contemporaries, from their Anubhava experience and Anubhava mysticism, came up with the thought that no one is inferior. So in fact they said, Yanaginta kiriyarilla, Shiva Bhaktariginta hiriyarilla. Ellaru onde. All of us are equal. All professions are equal. We just have to enjoy what we are doing. We need to put 100% into it. And then we need to make sure that everybody is equal. So that is a big philosophy, a big guideline towards the happiness and the bliss that can be among the community. And that is a very, very common thing that we have witnessed. Of course, Basavana was taken to task by the community in those days when he performed the marriage between two different sects. That was not supposed to have been done, and he was criticized quite a bit after that. So the global humanism aspect was forgotten in that sense. So what else can we talk about Shiva Sharanas? I have already talked about Kayaka and Dasoha. We said Kayakave Kailasa, no profession is inferior. Whatever you do must benefit the community through our Dasoha. We always talk about Guru, Linga and Jangama. So Guru is the most knowledgeable individual, and that does not mean that he can just enjoy his knowledge. He has to spend efforts to spread his knowledge to the rest of the community. That is his Kayaka. Jangama is the wandering mystic, but he cannot just keep on wandering, and unlike other philosophies, he cannot depend on the rest of the community for his living. He still has to work. At the same time, he needs to wander and spread the philosophy of the Sharanas. That is the Guru and Jangama aspects of it, while all of us are part of that Linga. Linga is that superhuman, super soul. Our souls are part of that super soul in general. I cannot just miss talking about Anubhava Mantapa when I think in terms of Shiva Sharanas, led by Basavana and Alam Prabhu, Akka Mahadevi, and all these Sharanas. The biggest thing I think about when I think of Anubhava Mantapa is how it contributed to liberty, equality, and fraternity among all the people that were involved, that were joining. It was open to everyone. It was open to every community, every profession, every education level, every scholarly level. All of them could gather, discuss things, derive the benefit out of it, and spread it to everyone. So there were both men and women even as early as those times. Of course, the whole idea was to create heaven on earth. So Basavanna and his contemporaries said, right conduct is the heaven, evil conduct is the hell. There is no heaven and hell elsewhere. That is what we create here among ourselves on this earth. Illi salluvaru, alliyu salluvaru. If we can create heaven here, we really don't have to think about do we go to heaven later or not. So, in general then, to conclude, one nice vachana that I am very, very fond of is the one that starts with Ivanarava, Ivanarava, Ivanarava Enisadiraya, Ivanamava, Ivanamava, Ivanamava Enisaya, Ninna Manaya Maganandanisaya, Kudala Sangamadeva. Basavanna said, treat everyone as your brothers and your sisters. Like I said, sons of, daughters of that fatherhood. So do not say, who is he, who is he, who is he? Say, he is mine, and he is mine. Say that he and me belong to the same house. We belong to that house of God. If you can just think along those lines, we simply dissolve the barriers that we have created throughout our experiences in that life. Once we dissolve the barrier, whether I am a professor or a driver or a chauffeur, it does not make any difference. We are all equal human beings. We are common souls. We are souls, part of that super soul. That is the big message that was brought to us by the Shiva Sharanas, and hence that is the message, if followed, can contribute to not only individual purity, it will come to external purity, which in turn contributes to Vishwamanava Dharma, the global humanism. These are some of my thoughts. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for Harish Shiraman and other organizers of this global Basava Jayanti, and Sharan Sharanarthi.